Hi there, welcome back to the Kenny Veach mystery case. I wanted to present an argument today in regards to if Kenny Veach wasn't truly missing, as in not in the desert, but maybe more so living a new life elsewhere, does it make this area pointless to search in? Does it make it less of a mystery, the area itself? Does Kenny Veach's presence in this area that puts it on the map, that turns it into a mystery? Or is there more going on in the area? And I would argue and say there is still stuff unsolved within this location, regardless of Kenny Veach. Now you've got to take in mind, this area became known because of Kenny recording his hike out there. Sure, there'll be hikers, people randomly on YouTube around the time and earlier, uploading some clips nearby and including Sheep Peak, higher up here. Now the odd hiker has been around here, I think J Chuck in the past, but that was for Kenny. Others beforehand, unknown individuals would have just been hiking completely unaware the mystery, what it holds within. And if it's at the time of when Kenny was supposedly missing out there. With Kenny Veach, he was the one that was present there and made a reference to the M Cave. So it's a 2-in-1 case mystery for the area. The area mystery of, is Kenny there or not? Where could he be, dead or alive? Most likely dead if he was in the desert area somewhere. And then the second one would be the cave itself, the mystery of the M Cave. Does that actually exist, and where is it? Now, if you was to say, and this is where the argument comes in, so just bear with me. Let's say Kenny Veach isn't in this area. That's one less of a mystery with the location and the environment. But you've still got the cave, right? Well, what if the cave didn't exist and it was made up by Kenny to benefit in some way? Then you could say, well, then there's nothing going for this area anymore. There is no point, there is no mystery, there is nothing. But this is the reality. It doesn't matter about Kenny Veach. It doesn't matter about the M Cave. There are other mysteries within this area, whether it links to the search or hike for Kenny or the cave, or it's just a standalone thing. There are mysteries out here. And I have highlighted them before, but we can always make reference back to them. Now, you could argue and say some of the sub-mysteries could have been created by people who have been out there searching for Kenny, and it might have been done indirectly. I'll give you an example at least. It might not be the best, but it is supposedly one. When it comes to the mineshaft area, I am doing this blind because I don't have the markers on. There we go. That's the mine shaft, right? It's got a bit of a mystery. The crystal skull inside. And now, in recent time, some kind of pen drive, which has either video footage or audio recording of Kenny Veach of some sort. And really, Robin, the fake one, has gone out of his way, good 3 to 4 hours on foot, whether that be there and back in total or 8 hours in total, to get to the mine shaft, to place some drive inside in hopes some other person will come along and retrieve it. Sounds very silly, a bit reckless and possibly dangerous. Could it be a trap? Who knows? Could it be a load of BS? Probably. But still, it's pointless placing stuff out there, creating a mystery, but in a forced way. Indirectly, besides the crystal skull, the only other temporary sub-mystery was the supply cache or cache. And that was near to the mine shaft. Wasn't there in the past, but at some point early 2024, it appeared. Reality is, in the end, it was a group who's been known to go out there in the past called Outpost Mojave, a group of 2 to 3 guys who went out there around December of 2023 and placed it there to help anyone in the future who could be hiking in the area and struggling. It was a bit of a mystery at first. Who created it? Who put it there? What was the reason behind it? Why was there a plank of wood with an arrow shape pointing east towards the mountains over there? Did it actually mean anything? Well, in the end, it didn't. So the mystery was solved, but it wasn't done on purpose. And we're going to try and figure out within this area and the case, or if it just runs in parallel to the case, what is a mystery and what isn't? What remains a mystery? What has been solved / debunked? What are man-made mysteries done as an attempt, like in a desperate way, to create something out of nothing? And then what is a genuine mystery in the area, which could be a long-standing thing, or it's only been recently discovered, and it's unexplainable? A good example of an unexplainable mystery that has gone on some time now, and it just so happens to run in parallel to hikers that have specifically gone out there looking for Kenny and or the M Cave, and in a similar area as well. I have done videos already, but we might as well bring it up once again. And that's up Picture Canyon within this area, or so, roughly speaking. This is looking upwards, so it's like facing east-ish. Now, when Kenny was in this area, he wasn't going up it, he was coming down it, exiting Picture Canyon. And you would have seen so far down on the left, you had the supposed M-shaped cave, another shallow-looking cave, the keyhole, and then the supposed covered M cave discovered by Sean or acknowledged in 2019 onwards. And then on the opposite side, you had the cave which Kenny appeared afraid of, which may or may not have had something lurking within, which Kenny saw, so he ended up hightailing out of there. Well, not quite hightailing, but he started moving quicker. And further down, not to be too specific, okay? I don't want to give anyone an aneurysm if I'm inaccurate. But on the right-hand side, or if you were coming down Picture Canyon on the left-hand side, what we're looking at now, somewhere a bit higher up elevation, you had the hidden M cave, which 99% of hikers have not seen, not recorded, documented or explored. Only that 1% Jeff Claw, at least to our knowledge, right? So it still indicates that possibility that if only one hiker sees one thing and then the rest don't, as much as you may claim to search and look about and you've not yielded any results, locations of the true M cave or other things along the way, if there's the odd person seen stuff no one else says, what else could be out there? So you got the mystery, the uncertainty about that. But in terms of a genuine, unexplainable event which happened more than once in this area, the lost time, missing time, or even missing footage. Jeff Claw, in the past, when coming through here, I believe it was 2016, and if I am wrong, it'll be 2017, in between them, but I think it's 2016. Jeff Claw got zapped by vibrations, not in this area, elsewhere. I'll still have to do a separate video about that. Feeling vibrations out in the desert area, the Mojave Desert, Jeff Claw being really the only one to feel vibrations, and the only other person feeling it, Kenny Veach, in 2014. That's interesting, isn't it? A very unique individual experience. But by the time Jeff Claw got to this area of Picture Canyon when hiking up it, almost like doing the reverse of what Kenny did. In between, from the point, if you want accurate representation, I've got videos on my channel, The Markers, in case you're wondering. But roughly in the area from where the supposed section of caves were, a rock, a skull on top, Jeff taking a photo of that, and then going further up canyon, coming out to like the where it spreads out, like a burn pit there, or the sagebrush, slightly up on this hill part, taking a photo looking down, and the time difference was like 2 hours, 10 minutes or so. That's not normal. Under a mile, 0 point something miles, and it's taken 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yet when it came to SB in 2024, some months back, Steve did the same hike, or part of it at least, went through the area, recorded some footage as well in the spot, the zone where like Jeff Clark did. SB was able to get from point A to point B, as we see on screen, in about 22 minutes. Yeah, it took Jeff Clark 2 hours, 10 minutes. That's odd. Did it actually take him 2 hours, 10 minutes? Yes, no? Well, the photos reveal a different story compared to when the photo 1 was taken and photo 2. For precise file type, size and measurements, you can always check my past video out. Maybe I can try and link it in the description somewhere. But while Steve didn't experience the time issue there, whilst Jeff Clark did, Steve had some issues with his equipment not working properly. Certain footage missing, which is weird because it doesn't always happen. Every now and then something odd occurs. Earlier in the case, maybe around 2021 or just before that, at least from what Scott Natal said, whether it be here or this spot, I'm doing it blind. Within this area, there was a section of rocks, and then you had the sword and tent, and people will be familiar with it by now, but those who aren't familiar, just to let you know, there's video footage of it. And then when Scott Natal returned back at a later point, it was no longer there. The tent, did it blow away? Maybe, but it was originally caught against rocks, and it was in a tight space, so really, I don't see why it would blow away unless someone moved it. Either way, it's a mystery. Who went out there? Who placed it there? Who was camping at the time of Kenny? Or after or before? We never know. It's a mystery. It's a bit spooky. Because it's a desolate area. You might get the odd person hiking, but how many actually camp there too? Especially in this rough, more out of reach area. It's quite spooky in a way. So with that in mind, with the missing time, with the missing footage, with the phantom footsteps or the sound of creatures, unexplainable ones, following you in the dark, it's a little bit creepy, the area, right? And nearby with the military presence as well. And I think 2019 satellite imagery highlighted some kind of military drone flying nearby the area over, I think, maybe some of these mountains, hills here, that like a surveillance, if there was anything of interest in this area. And there must be, at least at a point in time, because this is what you got to understand. People that say, Kenny Veach, it's not that big of a deal, he's probably just not there, or he's just simply dead and that's it. As for the M Cave, who knows about that? That might not exist whatsoever. It might have been made up by Kenny in an exploitive way, and then it endangered other people in the future who tried going out there. Or maybe Kenny was just simply vulnerable and delusional, dehydrated. He thought he saw something, but it wasn't there. Right. Oh, let's just toss that all aside. But do people forget that after 2014, well, probably in the same year, I believe, just after Kenny Veach's disappearance out here, claiming that there is a cave and it's mysterious and it's got vibrations, just so happens that the military want to take over this whole area, which you could publicly hike on. The military wanted this specific area. They didn't get what they wanted. They actually moved it up a bit higher as for restricted, like a land proposal. But it still would have been in the area of Picture Canyon, I believe, or near to that. Why would the military want this spot when it's just all hills, mountains and stuff? And then beyond, you'll have the Enchanted Forest or Hidden Forest Trail and the cabin, which is a bit more of a touristy area. I mean, it's a bit further on that, but still. Why would the military want this when they've already got enough land themselves? They're just greedy. They want to expand. It all comes down to the timing. If the military wanted to take over this land before Kenny Veach's disappearance, or maybe 20 years after Kenny Veach's disappearance, you might not think too much of it. But with Kenny publicly announcing online that he supposedly found a mysterious cave in this area, And then when he tries going back out and he doesn't return, shortly after, military want to take over the land to ensure nobody else hikes in the area. Bit of a coincidence, kind of strange timing, is it not? I want to know your thoughts on the matter there, and you can drop a comment down below. Do you think if you was to set aside Kenny Veach's disappearance and set aside the mystery of the M Cave, does this area still hold mysteries that are unsolved and other ones that have not been discovered yet? Drop a comment down below. That's it for now. My name's Warlike Raf. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.